I want to talk about DACA. This is something called the DREAM Act, and it impacts a lot of folks right here in our area. Today, Attorney General Jeff Sessions made the announcement on behalf of the Trump administration that DACA was no more. Is it dead? They put essentially a 6-month moratorium on it, saying that Congress now has to act because the original act, which was instituted by President Obama in 2012, was an executive order, and they say unconstitutional. So some in our area gearing up for the fight. Even Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno, running for governor to replace Chris Christie in New Jersey, tweeted about it today, saying it's now gotta be up to Congress to make sure that people don't get uprooted and thrown out of the country. All that coming up. But I want to start with Mike Donovan. Mike has been a guest on our show. He is a civil rights advocate. Mike, I know you released your own statement. The ACLU has released a statement. The battle lines are drawn. Do you think for a minute, though, you might be being a little bit disingenuous and playing to people's fears, because both sides seem to say no one's getting thrown out of the country?
Well, in 6 months, there are an awful lot of people who are going to get thrown out of the country if this isn't fixed. And disingenuous would be a president saying, I'm going to take 6 months to wind this down, when he could use the bully pulpit of the White House to force change by going to Congress and saying we need to fix this. I mean, it's just like one president doing something silly and another president doing something silly when someone needs to lead and act.
Do you think this was set up to fail? From the original statements of President Obama, he said this is not a pathway to citizenship. This is not amnesty.
Obviously, we should have had meaningful immigration reform that created a pathway for these folks. If you know them, no one would think we should force deport them from the country. So I actually agree with you, Bill. I think that this should have been resolved in a different way.
Do you have any confidence that Congress will act? Because I would have gone back to 2012 and said that, Congress should have acted then. They've been punting on this thing for years, if not decades.
This is the United States of America. We're a nation of immigrants. We pride ourselves on our idealism. Force deporting 800,000 kids who grew up here is not part of the American ideal. It can't happen. We have to come up with another solution. Am I confident that Congress is going to do the right thing? I mean, that's an oxymoron, right?
Well, they did such a great job with health care. How could you not be confident? Arlene, I want to start with you. The DREAM Act, it seems that everybody is now looking for their political position on this. But is it true that people are exaggerating just a bit, that 800,000 people are not going to automatically be tossed out of the country?
Listen, they're not going to automatically be tossed out of the country, but it does cause instability and insecurity. And for these dreamers that have never been to a country other than this, it's just very un-American. This is not who we are, and it's not who we want to be.
Right. Do you agree, though, when you think about this, everybody kind of politicized this, and immediately when it happened, there are protests heading out to Trump Tower now in New York. I'm sure you're going to see protests up and down our region, but there's a real emotional reaction to this. The reality is, do you think that it holds water, what the Attorney General said, that this executive order wasn't constitutional and bypassed the legislature, and it's up to Congress to fix this?
He didn't go far enough. What he should have said is Congress act immediately so these 800,000 young adults and children don't have to worry about what ultimately may happen to them. These are children who were brought to this country at a young age. They're employed now. They go to school, and they have spotless records.
Right. If you have a criminal record, you're not qualified for the program. So that is true. Jeanette, a lot of posturing on this. Even Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno seemed to hedge her bets a little bit. Like, I want to placate the anti-Trump people, but at the same time speak to the rule of law.
Nobody wants to be seen as not being compassionate to these children who are here through no fault of their own. However, that being said, to Arlene's point, these people are living with uncertainty because President Obama's mandate was unconstitutional. So Congress has a responsibility to write the law to allow immigration reform. And this is just one piece of a larger puzzle.
They did such a good job with health care. Hopes are high that they can handle this. All right, guys, got to leave it there. Here are some of the headlines we're chasing tonight.